Alright. Good morning in 210 class. I'm RJ, and the author that I chose today is William Shakespeare. He died at age 52, and a fun fact about him was that he died on his birthday as well. Shakespeare is widely known as a famous English poet. Shakespeare's sonnets are basically poems that consist of 14 lines, and within those lines are 3 quatrains and a couplet at the end of the last 2 lines. A quatrain basically is a stanza of 4 lines, mostly containing alternate lines. And a couplet is 2 lines of verse, usually in the same meter and united by rhyme, that form a unit. Shakespeare's quatrain usually consists of the problems, and the couplet in the end is the solution to his problems. So an example, it would be Sonnet 29 is what I'd like to discuss with you guys today, and I'm going to share my interpretation. First off, I'll read off Sonnet 29 so you guys can hear what it sounds like. Sonnet 29. When in disgrace with fortune in men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and troubled deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate. Wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy contented least. Yet in these thoughts myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state. Like to the lark at break of day arising, from sullen earth sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. So I'm just going to give you a brief example of what I think each line means. So here goes. First line, which states, when in disgrace with fortune in men's eyes. I think this line typically means how not only do people around him look down on him, but also how fortune itself does not like him as well. Meaning that, well, he is not well off with fortune. Second line, I all alone beweep my outcast state. What I believe Shakespeare may be saying is that he cries by himself because he feels he does not fit in with the wealthy people. He's not part of the, in crowd. He feels just like a loser. Third line, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries. He cries to heaven so much to the point where heaven would be deaf if heaven were a person, maybe, from listening to all of Shakespeare's nonstop crying. The fourth line, and look upon myself and curse my fate. Even as Shakespeare reflects on his fate, he also curses the fate of his life. Fifth, wishing me like to one more rich in hope. In this line, I think, he either wishes to be more hopeful or wealthy. Sixth line, featured like him with friends possessed. I think in this line he wishes to be like someone who, is attractive or good looking, or someone who has like a lot of friends, and those friends just probably like him for his own wealthiness. The seventh line would be desiring this man's art and that man's scope. So he's just giving examples of things that men see as wealth that he would want to have for himself. The eighth line, with what I most enjoy contented least. What he enjoys to do does not give him great satisfaction. That's what I think that line meant. And the ninth line, yet in these thoughts myself almost despising. Well, I think this is the part where he starts realizing that he is not unfortunate, as he may have thought. The 10th line, haply I think on thee, and then my state. So he starts thinking of a person that makes him happy and of his life status. Yeah, straightforward, I guess. The 11th line would be, like to the lark at break of day arising. So in this line, he's comparing himself to a bird that sings in the morning. The 12th line, from sullen earth sings hymns at heaven's gate. He's basically talking about how the other person gives life to his, lifelessness. The 13th line, for thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings. He remembers how her sweet love brings him wealth, and richness, not money wise, but like in happiness. The 14th line, the last line, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. So here's the solution. As he regrets wanting to change his condition with that of kings, because he now realizes that he is much more richer than those kings with a lot of money, richer in the sense of having been blessed with love by his lover. This is just my interpretation on Shakespeare's Sonnet 29. Alright, so overall, this sonnet in particular is about how the writer feels bad with the position he is in life because he is not very successful where he is, but then remembers that his life is actually greater than he thinks because he remembers that he is blessed with an amazing significant other. That's just what I think that's just my interpretation of this whole entire sonnet. So thank you for listening and have a great day. And cut.